Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Blue Mountain Morning. I'm Mark, and it's a crisp, thoughtful Wednesday, February 12th.
And I'm Alex. You know, Mark, there's something about Wednesday mornings that just feels like we're perfectly balanced between the chaos of Monday and the promise of the weekend.
That's surprisingly profound coming from you, Alex. Though I have to say, you seem especially energetic this morning.
Had 3 cups of coffee already, but hey, that's what Blue Mountain Morning is all about, right? Finding that perfect balance between energy and calm.
Exactly. Let's help our listeners find their center as they start their day. First up in today's horizon, some encouraging news. U.S. schoolteacher Mark Fogel has been released from Russian prison after being held since 2021. The White House confirmed his release after President Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff visited Moscow.
Oh, thank goodness. That's been weighing on me, Mark. I mean, can you imagine being stuck in a Russian prison for over 3 years?
It's certainly a relief to see him coming home.
However, according to the Foley Foundation, as of mid-2024, reports indicate that at least 46 U.S. nationals were wrongfully detained or held hostage in 16 countries. These individuals have been imprisoned for an average of just over 5 years, so there is still work to be done on that front.
In other significant news, former President Trump has made waves with his latest foreign policy stance, insisting that the U.S. should take control of the Gaza Strip. He reiterated his stance as he met Jordan's King Abdullah at the White House yesterday.
That's a pretty massive shift in policy, isn't it?
Indeed it is, Alex. It represents a dramatic departure from traditional U.S. approaches to the region and the long-standing goal of a two-state solution. It's already stirring up considerable debate internationally.
Talk about dropping a bombshell. But let's change topics and talk about important things outside of breaking news.
Absolutely. You know, Alex, we're seeing a fascinating shift in how Americans work these days. And it's not all sunshine and home offices like we once thought.
Remember when working from home was like this magical dream? Now I'm literally answering Slack messages from my bathroom at midnight.
That's exactly the problem we're seeing. What started as the ultimate workplace flexibility has turned into this always-on pressure cooker. Studies are showing that remote workers are actually putting in an average of 2 to 3 more hours per day than their office-based colleagues.
Tell me about it. The other day, I found myself in back-to-back Zoom calls for 7 hours straight. My eyes were practically bleeding. Is this like normal now?
It's becoming disturbingly common. The boundaries between work and personal life have basically evaporated for many people. Your living room is your office, your kitchen is your break room, and that laptop on your coffee table is like this constant reminder of unfinished work.
Wait, speaking of unfinished work, let me just quickly check my email while we're...
And that right there is exactly what we're talking about. This constant need to be connected, to check messages, to respond immediately.
Okay, you got me, but seriously, what are we supposed to do? I mean, my boss knows I'm always near my computer, so why wouldn't she expect an immediate response?
This is where we need to establish what experts are calling digital boundaries. Think of it like creating virtual walls in your home. Some companies are actually implementing strict no-meeting Wednesdays or email blackout periods after 6 p.m.
But doesn't that just mean double the emails on Thursday?
Not if it's implemented properly. The key is changing the workplace culture. Companies are finding that when they set these boundaries at an organizational level, productivity actually increases. People come back refreshed, more focused.
Oh, like that company that made their Slack go dark at 5 p.m. sharp. Although, I heard people just switch to texting instead.
That's why personal boundaries are just as important as company policies. Experts recommend creating a dedicated workspace that you can physically leave, setting specific work hours, and most importantly, sticking to them.
But what about people like me who live in a tiny apartment? My dedicated workspace is wherever my cat isn't currently sleeping.
Even in small spaces, you can create routines that signal the start and end of your workday. Maybe it's a morning walk to commute to work, or simply putting your laptop in a drawer at day's end.
In a drawer, my precious?
Yes, Alex, in a drawer. The physical act of putting work away can help your brain understand that it's time to switch off. Speaking of switching off, you know what I find really helpful? Creating what I call a wind-down ritual. At the end of each workday, I take 5 minutes to write down my wins for the day and my top priorities for tomorrow.
Oh, like a brain dump. Because otherwise all that stuff just bounces around in your head like a caffeinated squirrel, right?
Exactly. And here's something really practical that's been working for a lot of remote workers: the fake commute.
Wait, what? You mean like pretending to sit in traffic? Because I definitely don't miss that.
No, it's about taking a 15-minute walk around the block before and after your workday. It gives your brain that transition time it needs to switch between work mode and home mode.
Huh, that actually makes sense. Though knowing me, I'd probably end up doom scrolling on my phone the whole walk.
Which brings us to another important tip. Designate certain spaces or times as completely tech-free. Maybe your bedroom becomes a no-phone zone, or dinner time is strictly for eating and connecting with family.
But what if there's an emergency? What if my cat posts something on Instagram without me?
Trust me, your cat's social media career will survive. The world won't end if you're unreachable for an hour or two. As you know, I like to talk about nature, and there's something magical about watching the sunrise through leaves. Have you noticed how the light filters through in different patterns every morning? Just like those leaves dancing in the morning light, we can learn to filter what we let in. Not everything needs our immediate attention.
Kind of like how trees don't respond to every breeze that comes along, they just sway with it.
That's beautiful, Alex. And here's today's whisper. Next time you feel overwhelmed by notifications and demands, imagine yourself as a tall, sturdy tree. Let the digital winds blow past you while your roots stay firmly grounded in the present moment.
You know what? I think I'm going to try that right now. Well, folks, what a beautiful morning we've spent together. You know, I actually feel calmer than when we started, even with my usual 4 shots of espresso.
That's what Blue Mountain Morning is all about. Taking those moments to breathe, reflect, and find our center in this wonderfully chaotic world.
Oh, and make sure you follow us on your favorite podcast platform so you can join us tomorrow. Same time, same mountain. Who knows what wild insights and peaceful moments we'll discover together.
Until then, stay grounded and keep climbing. This has been Blue Mountain Morning.